Hi everyone, it's Ryan here from smartsportstrader.com. In today's video, I want to go through the methods that I've been using over the last 4 years to make over £109,000 in profit from the sports betting markets. Over on my blog, smartsportstrader.com, I have been recording my monthly profit and loss for close to 4 years now. And as you can see from the graph, I've been able to make a profit consistently on a monthly basis. In this video, I won't be talking about any secret hacks or super secret methods. What I will go through are the exact methods I use to make these profits, the pros and cons of each method, and how to get the most from these methods. So the first method that I want to talk about is match betting, and that's probably the most well-known method that I'm going to talk about today. So back in 2010, this was how I initially got into sports betting, and this was how I realized that you could actually make money from the sports betting markets. So match betting involves using bookmaker promotions to secure yourself free bets and guarantee yourself a profit. For example, a new sign up to Bet365 will be given £100 in bet credits or £100 in bonus funds. So using match betting, you can make at least £70 from this. You do this by covering all the outcomes of an event for a small loss initially. Then when you get the free bet, you use the same tactic, you cover all of the outcomes, but this time using the free bet, you will make yourself a profit. So this is still something that I do when the opportunity is there. And it's still very profitable to do that right now, although the amount of money has reduced over time using match betting. So for example, I started in 2010, that was 11 years ago now, so I don't make that much money from match betting. It's a very small amount of the profit, but it's ideal for people that are starting with sports betting and looking to make money. So the pros of match betting are that it's ideal for beginners, it's ultra low risk, and the profit made for your time spent is very good. So like I say, even if you get say you get a £10 free bet, you can guarantee yourself probably around £7 profit from that. It's going to take you 5 minutes. So, you know, in terms of the time that you spend doing that, for the profit that you make, it's still very, very good. And the only cons are, like I mentioned earlier, that, you know, these offers will eventually dry up, and as time has gone by, the opportunities for match betting have got lower and lower, but that shouldn't put you off. It's still a great starting point. The next method I wanted to talk about is arbitrage betting. After match betting, this is probably the second easiest method to use, as it's extremely low risk and there is very little variance in your results. So arbitrage betting involves covering every outcome of an event in order to guarantee yourself a profit. So it's very similar to match betting, but you're not using free bets to guarantee yourself a profit. You are basically taking advantage of the fact that odds move and change, and there are occurrences where different bookmakers are offering different odds, which when you put them together will guarantee yourself a profit. So perhaps an easy way to explain this is, let's say we're looking at an MMA fight, so a UFC fight, because the MMA betting market is good in that if the fight is a draw, then you'll often get your money back. So it's quite simple to get an arbitrage bet on MMA. So let's say you've got Conor McGregor on one side, and you can bet £100 to get a profit of £102, and then on the other side you've got Dustin Poirier, and the odds are the same. You can bet 100 to win £102 again. So in that example, you're going to make £2 no matter what happens, because you are always going to win 102 on one side or the other side, and you're going to lose 100. So you'll lose 100 on this side, you'll win £102 on the other side, so you would make a £2 profit, and it would be exactly the same on the other side. So that's just a kind of easy way to explain arbitrage betting in its most simplest form. So the pros of arbitrage betting are that it's very low risk, and that you're just getting slow and steady profits. Like I say, it's like a few percent, so you'll be making maybe 1-2% of profit on your total stake. The cons of arbitrage betting are, unfortunately, bookmakers don't like you doing it, and they will ban you if they know that you're doing it. You need some capital to start with. You can't really start arbitrage betting if you don't have any money. And if you do make an error with arbitrage bet, so let's say you bet on the wrong market or you make a mistake somehow, then it can be costly, because you'll be staking several hundreds of pounds to make a few pounds. So if you make a mistake and one side loses, and you haven't covered the other side correctly, then you can lose a few £100. But overall, arbitrage betting is a very good strategy. It's not something that I do a ton of, but I still do use arbitrage betting whenever I get the opportunity to do so. Okay, so this next method is a little bit more advanced, and with this method you can endure some losing periods. However, it's a very valid way of making money from the sports betting markets over the long term. So value betting involves using information from sharp bookmakers and betting exchanges. So these are bookmakers and exchanges that don't ban or limit winning players to identify value at soft bookmakers. So soft bookmakers, they do ban winning players. So you've got the likes of William Hill, Ladbrokes, Coral, Betfred. These all have shops in the UK as well. So value betting occurs when the sharp bookmakers move their odds, and that's because basically the best sports bettors in the world have to go and bet in these sharp betting markets, as they're not allowed to bet with the soft bookmakers. So they cause the odds to move, and sometimes the soft bookmakers are slow in moving their odds, so this presents an opportunity to get a value bet with these soft bookmakers. So there's a ton of data that supports using value betting as a profitable method, and personally I've been doing it for a few years and making money from it. So the pros of value betting are that there are still plenty of value bets to be found. For me personally, I think out of the three, match betting, arbitrage betting and value betting, this is where there's the most opportunity to be had currently. The cons of it are that you will go through losing periods, so you might go through like a month or two where you're not making money from value betting, but over the long term you will win. And also bookmakers will ban winning players, like I said. However, there's also, you know, a ton of opportunity to do this with like shops when they open in the UK after COVID, and there's just tons of bookmakers out there to do value betting with. So one of the questions that I get asked quite a lot is like, what's working right now? So what are the best methods right now? So I've got my profits here using the three methods above since 2020. So I've made £11,952 using these methods, but I would say about 80% of that is from value betting. And the other 20% is from arbitrage and match betting. So value betting is where I'm kind of making the most money out of those three methods. And what I will do, I have got more methods to talk about, but just so that you know, I will put in the description kind of more in-depth guides to each of these methods, as in this video I'm just briefly going over what the methods are and the pros and cons of them. Alright, so the next method we're going to look at is exploiting casino offers. So this is a little bit different, however it is profitable. So everyone knows the saying, the house always wins. However, this is not entirely true. You see, there are times when online casinos or brick and mortar casinos, they will offer bonuses or promotions which will flip the advantage from the house to the player. If you only take part in casino games when those bonuses or promotions are offered, then you can actually make money in the long term. So imagine you're playing a game of heads or tails, you're flipping a coin with a friend, and every time it lands on heads, your friend gives you £1 and 10 pence, and every time it lands on tails, you give your friend £1. So in the short term, your friend might win. Let's say he wins 7 out of 10 coin flips, and he makes money. However, if you were to flip that coin, let's say 1,000 times, then you would know that you would be very likely to be in profit, as it's a 50-50 chance of heads or tails, and you are getting paid at like odds of above 50%. Basically, you're getting £1.10 every time it lands on heads, and your friend's getting £1. So the fair price would be £1 for either outcome, but that £1.10, the extra 10 pence, gives you an advantage. So that's exactly the same way to look at exploiting casino offers. You use exactly the same premise. So I'll just bring my results up from 2020. This is up until February 2021. So you can see from these results that in total I've made £14,277 from exploiting casino offers. So you can see that this is still a very profitable strategy, and it's something that you should take a look at. So those are the 4 methods that I feel that can be replicated by the majority of people. Once you understand how they work, it's just simply a case of putting in some volume and making sure that you don't stake too much money. So you're not staking too much money on the casino offers or the value betting. You have to make sure you're staking consistently. Like, let's say you just only stake 1% of the total money that you've set aside for these methods. So all of those methods I will add guides for below in the description if you want to take a look at them. And the last method that I've got to talk about is sports betting. Now, sports betting is a little bit different, as I think this is a little bit more skill based, whereas the 4 methods before, like I say, I feel like the majority of people can replicate these methods quite easily. So if you want to learn about sports betting, then I suggest you keep watching the video. But if you kind of want to dig in and learn about match betting, arbitrage betting, value betting and exploiting casino offers, I will add in-depth guides in the description below. Okay, so lastly, I just thought I'd talk a little bit about sports betting in general, and just to kind of highlight some of the points that I'm going to make later, I just thought I'd bring up my own results. So these are my own sports betting results. This is using my own analysis and opinion. And these results are from 2017, so you can see it started in April 2017 up until today, which is the 25th of March 2021. So over that period of time, I've made 948 bets and I've made a return on my investment of 13%. So I've made just over £15,000 profit from sports betting. See here, this is the graph. So this graph does kind of illustrate the long-term nature of sports betting as well, because you can see if we go here, I think this is July 2019, June 2019, all the way to like June 2020. You can see that I didn't really make any money in this period. So I was betting over that period. I just wasn't hitting many winners, and it kind of flattened out. And then obviously this year and the end of last year has been a lot better, and now I've gone forward and made some more profit. I'll just show you the sports that I bet in as well. So I bet in mixed martial arts, sport of mixed martial arts, which is UFC. You see I've made the majority of my money betting in mixed martial arts. And then no sport, that is in play betting, so that's on mixed martial arts and football, but it's mainly mixed martial arts now. And you can see at the bottom, I made 220 bets on football. These are in like the Premier League and like Champions League with the major markets, and I made a very tiny profit, but not much really to get excited about. So I'm not selling anything. I didn't show you these results to try and tempt you to buy tips or anything like that, but what it does highlight is that it's much easier to make money from smaller, less known sports. And so if you see mixed martial arts, I'd say it's a fairly niche sport, and I think that's kind of gives you an advantage, because I personally am a massive fan of mixed martial arts and a former competitor, and I think that gives me an edge in betting. And you see that kind of across the board, it's a lot easier to make money from sports betting if you specialize in kind of these smaller markets. Or for example, I know people that do really well betting in the corners markets in football, or betting in the cards markets, as opposed to betting in these huge games that get millions, hundreds of millions of pounds bet on them, like the Premier League, Serie A, La Liga. It's much easier to kind of look at these smaller markets and these niche sports, and specialize in them and make money from them that way. So that's my general advice for sports betting, is if you're looking to try and make money from it, using your own opinion and your own analysis, then it's much better to take a look at these smaller, more niche markets and kind of attempt to beat them. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and perhaps you learned something new from it. The whole idea behind this video wasn't to go too in depth into each strategy. It was just to briefly go over the strategies that I've been using over the last 4 years to make decent profits from the sports betting markets. So if you do want to go a bit more in depth into each method, you can look in the description, and I will add guides, and I'll also add links to other videos which discuss these methods in much more depth. And like I say, if you did enjoy this video, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, as that allows me to continue to make content related to making money from the sports betting markets. So thank you very much for watching. See you later.